were the tweets themselves talking about going back to your country, especially many congresswomen who are from America, is that in itself racist?
I didn't take it that way. I understand where some people found it to be insensitive, crude, aggressive. I can understand that. To go as far as to say it was racist, I don't believe it was. When I saw the tweets, when I read the tweets, very much my takeaway was love it or leave it. And that is something that I've said before. That's something that President Trump has said before. It's, if you don't like this country, if you want to fundamentally change it, you want to bring socialism to our shores, then you should leave, because you're clearly not a fan of the American process.
Well, of course, love it or leave it is offensive in and of itself. Conservatives complain about a lot of things about America. We don't suggest that they should leave. Dissent is patriotic. We all want to make the country a better place. And one way to do that is by dissenting. But look, clearly it is racist. I'm a person who's been debating hot-button issues and taking provocative positions publicly for 40 years. Nobody in all of that time has ever suggested to me that I should go back to where my ancestors came from, which, by the way, is England and Poland, and one of them was an illegal immigrant many generations ago. This is something that's only said to people of color. And by the way, Ayanna Pressley, African-American congresswoman, born in Ohio, where is she supposed to go back to exactly? You know, most African-Americans in this country, their ancestors were brought here in chains. And for hundreds of years, when people had a complaint, they would say, go back to Africa. It is insulting. It should be relegated to the dustbins of history. It makes me so angry that our president would say this, and now his supporters are chanting it at a rally.
First of all, I want to speak to that. I don't agree with chanting it at the rally. I'm actually going to be doing final thoughts on Fox Nation about that today.
Good.
I don't think that that's helpful.
Good.
I think that that is misinterpreting what Trump meant by his original tweet, so I agree with you on that point. However, I disagree with you when you say no one's ever told you to go back where you came from. Almost on a daily basis, people tell me, well, your ancestors took over this nation and drove out the Native Americans. Go back to where you came from. So I have heard that almost on a daily basis. Well, you should check out my Twitter
But to the
notifications.
basic point, though, I mean, President Trump complained about this country all the time. His entire 2016 run was complaining about this country. He talked about American carnage. He talked about disgusting. He mocked the president. Nobody said to him, leave the country. Isn't that part of the process?
No, and I agree with you on that. I don't think we should tell people to just leave the country. I do believe, though, what he was referring to is if you want to bring socialism to this country, if you want to ravage this country, if you believe in open borders and a free-for-all, then maybe you don't like the values of this country, because that is not what our country is based on, is socialism, on things like the Green New Deal and the extremism that's coming from the left. So I agree, there's nothing wrong with saying that there are problems in this country. We all think there are problems in this country. But when you want to fundamentally change this country the way those four do, that's what he's taking issue with. That's what I take issue with.
He ran on a campaign of radical change. He wanted to shake
Radical
things up.
change, like Americans
he wanted
come
to
first.
shake things up in Washington. He wanted to do everything differently, and that's what he has done. And to say that these people want open borders is ridiculous. None of them favor open borders. To say that health care for everybody is socialism, I mean, is public education for everybody socialism? People used to say that. Is providing fire coverage by firefighters to everybody, is that socialism? I mean, there's certain basic things that we're fighting for. It's not socialism. And anyway, they shouldn't have to go back if they're advocating, public policies.
When you say that they don't believe in open borders, when they're talking about decriminalizing illegal entry, sorry, that is open borders.
No, it's not.
And when you say providing health care for all this wonderful thing, especially illegal immigrants, have you seen the homeless epidemic we have in this state?
Yes, I have.
And we should be spending $100 million a year on health care for illegal immigrants, people who have
What's
no
the
legal
alternative?
right?
Let people be sick and die? Let me respond to your questions, because we are one of the wealthiest countries in the world. And to say that we're not going to provide health care for all of our people, even people who are destitute, who are God's children, who may be homeless because of mental health issues, we shouldn't give them health care? That is un-American.
Let's also get to a point of this that you said. You said you don't agree with the chants of
No.
send her back. The president also said that he didn't agree with the chants, but he said that the day after. And then I talked with Joe Biden about that this week during his trip to California. Here's what both of them said.
I was not happy with it. I disagree with it. But again, I didn't say that. They did.
You can imagine if someone said that when I was speaking, what I would have said. No, stop. Speak up, man. Not after the fact. Not after the fact. And look.
You think he's trying to have it both ways?
Pardon me?
Do you think he's trying to have it both ways, to have that in the moment and then the next day walk it back?
Well, he does that all the time and everything.
Because clearly we're pretty divided right now. If
No.
you're president, how do you
Look,
put the pieces back together?
I think the vast majority of American people understand what's going on. They get it.
Do you think he's trying to have it both ways?
No, I don't. And I believe the president when he said I disagreed with it. And I think in that moment, he didn't know what to say. Please stop chanting. And maybe he should have. And in fact, I wish he would have. Because I don't believe that that's what Trump supporters really believe in. And also, the chant that I prefer to hear is build that wall anyway.
Last thoughts on
You
this?
know, he is the president. To say that he can't show leadership is too much to ask of him when he's standing there for 10 seconds silently while they're just following up on what he had tweeted. It's absurd. Are our standards for our president so low that we can't even hold him to account when people are saying, send her back? I mean, please, I think we can insist on better.
Okay, well, after all that, let's change up the mood a little bit, right?